That's what good planning is all about. Well, first of all, I thank Mrs. and Mr. Shivalal and the entire team for inviting me to this function and giving me an opportunity to interact with you all. My congratulations to the winners of this leadership award. Every one of you is a champion. Every one of you is a leader. I would like to speak today on my vision for education and the role of school leadership in delivering high quality education in our country. I will restrict it to primary and secondary school education, since that's where the foundation is laid. First, let me talk about the purpose of education. I am reminded of what Robert Hutchins once said, and he said, the purpose of education is not to reform students or to amuse them or even to make them expert technicians. It is to unsettle their minds, widen their horizons, inflame their intellects, teach them to think straight if possible. It is instructive to remember the words of Skinner, Robert Skinner, who said, education is what survives when what has been learned has been forgotten. I believe that education is all about learning to learn. It is about extracting generic inferences from specific instances and using them in new unstructured situations. Education helps us to go from being good people to good citizens. Education makes our children good and useful citizens of our society by inculcating problem solving, hard work, imagination, proactive action to do good deeds, character, and moral values. Education teaches them to overcome prejudice and improve their tolerance towards differing opinions. The purpose of education, and I'm sure you will all agree, is to create a civilized society. A society where everybody has equal opportunity to better his or her life, where every child has food, shelter, healthcare, and education. A society where duties come before rights. Education is about assuming responsibility in the society. Responsibility to show fairness to the less fortunate, to create a future that the posterity can be proud of, and to fulfill the promise that freedom has brought us. Many people think that education is expensive. You talk to politicians, somehow they seem to think it is expensive. I would like to remind them of the words of Derek Bock, a former president of Harvard University, who said, if you think education is expensive, try ignorance. Many people call for democratization of excellence in education. This is obviously a much needed thing, but unfortunately, such a thing just does not exist, because excellence is all about rising above the norm. Nowhere in the world does egalitarianism has any place in the pursuit of excellence in any field. While every citizen has a role to play, his or her contribution and recognition of their contribution will be purely based on what capacity they have for hard work, innovation, honesty, ambition, discipline, and commitment. What is my vision for primary and secondary education in India? I want India to go from its current 131st position out of 188 countries in the Human Development Index in 2017 to the top 10 by harnessing the power of education. I want every child to receive the best help from teachers, to rise to its best potential, commensurate with his or her capacity, without being hindered by financial constraints. I do not want the access to high quality, high leverage education to be restricted to only the elite, as it is today, but to be available to the poorest of the poor also. I want excellence, merit, and achievement to be revered. This is the only way we can indeed solve the grand challenges that India faces. I want the Indian schools to become aspirational for children all over the world. I want to make our children acquire a scientific problem-solving mindset. I want our children to focus on problem-solving orientation, to improve our context, our society, nature around us, rather than the current focus on learning by rote. The only certain asset in India today is our children of all religions. Let there be no doubt about it. Therefore, our school system has to encourage our children to think, to imagine, to do mental simulations, and to ask questions. We must encourage them to look at the nature around them and seek answers to their questions about nature. Building an ability in them to seek answers will lead to better inventions in India of tomorrow. On a school visit a few months ago, I asked a middle school student how much weight he could lift. He said 10 kilograms. I asked him if he could think of any place where he could lift about 60 kg of weight or 6 times his capacity. He just could not. I explained to him that he could do so if he went to the moon, because the acceleration due to gravity on the moon is just 1/6 of the value on Earth. I asked his classmates, much senior to him, in the 9th or 10th grade, a few more questions about nature. Why does the sun turn red while setting in the evening or rising in the morning? Why is the sky blue? And whether the space is sunlit or dark. When you go to space, do you see dark around you, or do you see it like we see on the earth? While children could recite by heart answers to traditional memory-oriented questions from the textbook, they just could not use the theory that was taught them in the school to answer any of these questions. Now let me come to mathematics. Let me remind you how in 1615 AD, almost more than 400 years ago, John Napier, a Scottish laird, that is a landlord, and Henry Briggs, a professor, converted the time-consuming problem of multiplication into that of a simpler and faster problem of addition by inventing logarithms, which you teach your children in schools even today. While it was John Napier who invented logarithms, it was Professor Henry Briggs who used the base 10 because he demonstrated to John Napier that by using base 10 rather than 1.401 that John Napier was using, he could easily find the logarithms and anti-log for any number very easily. The point I'm making is that your job is to build a strong foundation of scientific and formal reasoning for your school children to understand nature around them and use the power of reasoning, discussion, and arguments to overcome constraints of nature and make life easier for human beings. This is what science, engineering, and mathematics are all about. Let me just get to what happened yesterday. Yesterday, as you know, the Nobel Prize for Physics was awarded to 3 physicists, Rees, Thorne, and Barish. Rees came from MIT, and Thorne and Barish came from Caltech. They did something extraordinary. I don't know how many of you have thought about it. Can you imagine these 3 scientists designing a machine called LIGO, Laser Interferometer Gravitational Wave Observatory, that measured a ripple whose amplitude was just 1/10,000th the size of the atomic nucleus. Can you people imagine something whose amplitude or whose size is 1/10,000th the size of atomic nucleus? Resulting from, this is even more interesting, resulting from the collision of 2 black holes or 2 objects, 2 stars, 2 dying stars, approximately 30 times the size of sun. Each of them is 30 times the size of sun. Right? You can now imagine, right? Sun itself is so much larger than Earth. And even more interesting, this collision of these 2 black holes happened 1.3 billion years ago. This is what science is all about. This is the ultimate machine. There is no other machine ever designed in this world of this complexity, this imagination, this daring. Therefore, the question that you and I, much more so you people, principals, have to ask is, how will we help our children to do such things? How can India demonstrate one such thing? Memorizing and rote learning that we have all become experts on is unfortunately what we encourage our children to do in India. That's all what our schools teach. That is the tragedy of the educational system. That's why the reality is India has not invented anything worthwhile in the last 600 to 700 years, even though we have lots of smart youngsters around us. Let's look at our own history of advances in just science and mathematics. There were many scientists and mathematicians who did earth-shaking work during the golden period of science and mathematics in India. That is the period 180 to 1480. That was the last time when somebody from India did what could be considered earth-shaking. Yes, it's true that Ramanujan did some very interesting stuff. There were Chandrasekhar, many others have done. But in reality, even the work of Ramanujan and others is not at the same level as what the scientists and mathematicians of India did between 180 and 1480. The scientists and mathematicians of the golden era of Indian science and mathematics were some of the deepest and most original thinkers of the world.